Friendly disclaimer before you begin. If your team isn't on this list, then that just means I don't care about them enough. Let me know in the comments if I should care about them. Note, I'm a Cubs fan, and if I were to make a full power rankings, they wouldn't even be in the top 20. At number 10, we have the Toronto Blue Jays. Most people just focus on Vladdy and Bo Bichette, but really, their rookie pitchers Alex Manoah and Jordan Romano have been solid as hell. Number 10 is honestly the hardest spot to choose since there's like 4 teams that could be here, but in my opinion, if the Jays can pick up a couple pitchers during this trade deadline, they can make a playoff push. They'd be a lot higher on this list if they would just stop taking advice from the New York Yankees and finding new ways to lose games. I mean, it's artistic at this point. Moving on to number 9, it's the Oakland Athletics. They started off the season hot and then died in May, but bounced back in June. They got a lot of strength in their rotation, but their bullpen is a little yikes right now. The Astros above them just keep winning, and Seattle below them isn't letting up either. I mean, now Seattle has this new guy called the Rally Kid, and I think that's just going to make them stronger. They're lucky the Angels are still irrelevant though, so they only have to worry about 2 teams in their division. There are some rumors about a trade with the Cubs, but we'll see what happens there. Number 8 are the Milwaukee Brewers. If you watched their last series against the Reds, it was more about the horrendous umpiring than either of these 2 teams. When will we get robo-umps? The stick stuff ban hasn't affected the Brewers rotation at all, and Josh Hader from the bullpen continues to be a monster. The NL Central is their division to lose now. The Cubs are sellers, St. Louis has all but given up, and the Reds are still 6 games behind. I really don't see the Brewers losing this from here on out. Number 7 is the worst offensive team on here, the New York Mets. Sitting in first place in the NL East, they still have a lower run differential than the last place Miami Marlins. They're currently ranked second to last in runs per game, just barely ahead of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Luckily for them, their pitching keeps chugging on with God reincarnate DeGrom and Taijuan Walker leading the way. Ideally, if the Mets added a flexible player like Chris Bryant who can play multiple positions, they might be able to make that World Series push. Who knows though, they could just sit pat and make their fans cry. Number 6 is the Chicago White Sox. They keep winning even though their team keeps on getting hurt. I just used Yermin Mercedes highlights for them because why not? At least he's not injured. They've already lost Grandal, Madrigal, Jimenez, and Robert. And hey, at least we know when Madrigal is returning. Next year. So they got Engel back, but ended up having to DFA Eaton. Luckily, their division is a dumpster fire, and they have a healthy lead. All they have to do is get some key players back, and they'll be a strong contender in October. At least one Chicago team is doing well. Number 5 is the swag chain San Diego Padres. I find it funny how good Tatis is, even defensively, with his jaw-dropping plays, but stats-wise, is the worst defensive shortstop in the league. He just seems to mess up on easy plays. Whatever. The Padres have the unfortunate fate of being in the same division as the Dodgers and Giants, and at this point sit 4 games behind the first. Literally anything can happen in this division in the span of 20 games, so it's incredibly hard to predict. I think the Padres are the weakest just because of their pitching, but they have the potential. Worst case, they'll make it as a wild card. The Boston Red Sox come in at number 4. They've got the second best record in the league, and it looks like they can keep reproducing their success. They're sending 5 players to the All-Star game, which is the most of any team, 3 hitters and 2 pitchers, and they've got a secret weapon in Chris Sale returning sometime in the second half. I feel people have forgotten how freaking good Chris Sale is. Not saying he's going to return 100% or anything, but even 90% Chris Sale is super valuable for a contending team. I gotta say, I'm pretty excited to watch him pitch again. Number 3 are the Los Angeles Dodgers. Alright, you can be mad in the comments or dislike the video if you're going to be butthurt about it, but I'm putting them 3rd because of their, quote, missing players. Nobody knows if or when Trevor Bauer will be back as his investigation continues, and recently Clayton Kershaw landed on the IL for inflammation. Granted, it doesn't look serious, but they currently only have 3 healthy starters at the moment. If they don't add any more at the trade deadline, they're going to be running on fumes in that department and would have to use someone like David Price or call up a prospect. Note, Julio Urias has already exceeded his career high in innings, and it's barely halfway through the season. Haha, number 2, it's the Giants. Literally the definition of a comeback story. If you look at the names they're sending out to the All-Star game, you'd think it was 2017. Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, and Kevin Gausman. All 3 of them over 30, and nobody wanted Gausman, and he turned into an ace this season. The Giants are sitting in first place in the NL West with the best record in the league. I always check the standings waiting for them to regress, but it's been 87 games and they still haven't. I'm too scared to put them at number 1 in my ranking, so I put them as 2 because, come on, who doesn't like Buster Posey? Number 1 are the New York Yankees! Just kidding. Sorry, Yankees fans. It's actually the Houston Astros. So what if they lost 5 out of 6 to the Tigers and Orioles? They've got the best run differential in the league and their bullpen is fire. I wanted to show you a fun little chart. This shows the average spin velocity drop on 4-seam fastballs per team since the foreign substance ban. Note, the Houston Astros are second to last in drop, which could mean two things. Either their starters barely ever use the sticky stuff, or they found a new way to cheat the system. We'll know in a year or so when some disgruntled ex-Astros pitcher goes, "But Mom, Altuve made me use his sticky stuff." Fun thing to note, the teams with the highest drop-offs are the Athletics and Dodgers. You can make your own conclusion from that. So there you have it. Astros at 1. I think they're well-deserved, no matter if I call them the Trastros from time to time. We could really end up seeing Astros versus Dodgers in the World Series again, but there's still a lot of baseball to be played. So go, please like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.